Welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour's Golden Hour. We are so happy to be back. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, Susan?
Good, honey. It's nice to see you. If you haven't heard Wednesday's episode, make sure to check it out because we had Faith with us.
How about Faith?
I know. She doesn't want to do Bachelor Paradise if there is one.
Yeah, and then there's you pushing her. I'm like, forget about it. Forget about it. It's less competition. Bye, Faith. Nice knowing you.
But
See you
she
later.
looked great, didn't she?
She does look great. And she is an interesting woman. She lives in the countryside. She doesn't live in a city.
Right.
She loves her animals, her horses. I don't get the horses. But, she just loves her rural life.
Nature
and I
girl,
love that
yep.
she's so independent and leads the life she wants to lead.
Yeah, good for her. She looks fabulous, though. She does. And she sounds happier.
She sounds happy. And Faith, we're really going to miss you. If there's a Bachelor in Paradise,
we'll tell you all about it.
But not everything. All right. It's another Friday. So we're back with more fan questions. Susan, these are really, I'm going to tell you right now, these are some tough ones. So I'm excited to help out some of Bachelor Nation today, and I need you to help out too.
Yes, we really love helping you guys out. So please keep the questions coming. Go to bachelornation.com/golden hour to send us your questions now.
You need to send those questions. We love them. We love hearing from you. But before we get into today's question, Susan, we got to start with our question of the day.
Okay.
What do we have to kick us off today?
Do you think right person, wrong time is real?
Absolutely.
You do? Why?
Meeting the right person at the wrong time?
What's the wrong time?
You're separated. You're raising young kids. Your career is first. I mean, I could think of 100 reasons that at my stage in life now, no. Where I am, where you are, if we meet the right guy, it is the right time for us. But
I think for me, if it's the right person, I would make it the right time.
Okay, how are you going to do that? You're raising 3 young kids. You're divorced. You got a full-time job. How are you going to put Mr. Right first?
Well, he has to know I have children. So if he's Mr. Right, he'll embrace them as well.
Oh, what girlfriend? You are living in dreamland.
I always have and always will.
No. I really do think that when you're younger, when those of you out there who are, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and really even your 50s, your life is so complicated by career and family and so many things that you might meet the right person. What if you met the right person, Susan, who's just coming off of a bad relationship? What about that?
Yeah. Well, no, I hear you. Or if you're right in the middle of your career taking off, I mean, I get it.
I mean, you and I are sitting around just waiting for Mr. Right to come along. So definitely right time for the right guy. All right, let's.
All right,
what do you
we're
say
going to
we
do
move
some
into our
questions? Yes.
You want to take the first one?
Sure. This is from Mandy, who is 25 from Kansas City. Hi, Kathy and Susan. I'm in a tough position and I have no idea what to do. I'm currently in my first ever long-term relationship. We've been together for a few years and have lived together for the past year, and I've really enjoyed our time together. However, I'm starting to notice things about our relationship that are worrying me. For example, I'll talk to him about my day, something crazy I saw online. He's not really into social media, really any kind of casual conversation, and I'll catch that he's not listening to me. I don't feel like this all the time, but when I do notice it, it hits me really hard. I know I'm more chatty and he's more of a listener. And lots of my friends have teased me in the past for being really talkative. So that's a possibility. I don't interrupt him when he's doing something like watching TV. But I'm realizing maybe I don't always strike up conversations at the best times. What do you think? How do you balance a chatty partner with a more quiet partner? How do I even bring this up? Being made to feel embarrassed or awkward about how much I talk is a huge trigger for me and really hurts my feelings. I don't want to feel like I can't be myself around my partner, but I also want to respect his space and acknowledge his role in our partnership.
I got
Okay.
Susan,
Yeah.
Mandy, this was me with my husband. I'm not kidding. I'm reading this going, this was me. So I am very talkative, very garrulous, very outgoing, and my husband was much more introverted and shy. And I often would be talking and I would look at him and say, "You're not listening to me." And then I realized, Mandy, that you're absolutely right. There's sometimes that he might be reading a book or watching a show or just decompressing from his workday. And I think you have to read the room a little better than I did. Um, just give him a little bit of space. What I found worked was I would say to my husband, his name was Daryl, I would say, Daryl, let's go out and take a walk. It was like a planned time to sit and talk together. And I would talk and I would ask him questions. It was like setting up a daytime to talk. And that really worked well for me.
So I have a girlfriend that is extremely chatty. And for me, it makes me anxious. I don't holler, but I look at her and I had a heart to heart with her and said, there's too many words. There's just, you lose me. You've lost me. Like, I don't even know what it is you're talking about because you give me background details and I'm imagining that's what chatty means. Like, you just go on and on and on. And it's a lot for some people. So less is more. But when you want to get something important across to him, he will pay attention if you don't use so many words.
You know, that's an interesting thought. I've never thought about it in that context, but I think that Mandy, you hit on something. You said that he's a quiet partner. My husband was a quiet partner. And you know what, Mandy? There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes people are better listeners and are more comfortable being the listener than the talker. I think what you're saying is you're a little uncomfortable doing all the talking. And so I again would
and
encourage.
her friends have told her she's chatty. So
Right.
there's a point here, right?
Right. And the point is set some time apart where your husband or I guess it's your partner knows that you guys are going to have conversation, and that means two-way conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the time, let him have his space, talk when you want to talk, and understand that he might just be a listener, and that's okay.
And
That's
Mandy,
okay.
don't be mad at me, but less is more sometimes. It really is, because I have a friend exactly like you and I love her to death, but it's a lot sometimes.
Well, we wish you the best, Mandy. And one more quick thing I want to say. They knew each other a year, and it's her first ever long-term relationship. They've known each other a few years. They've lived together 1 year. Mandy, that's what living together is about. You're not married. It's
right.
About finding out about each other. Maybe you two aren't meant to spend the rest of your life together. So I'm not wishing you ill. I'm just saying these are the kinds of things you discover when you live with someone. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So
and
you know what?
Find out now, right?
Yeah, it's better to find out now. Just a thought.
But I'm sure he's just used to you chatting, and he just tunes it out sometimes. That's all. But I would actually on a date night or something that you're both in a good place and he's paying attention to have the conversation with them.
Right.
And say, I'm sorry that, I know I go on and on, but yeah.
And you know what? You might be surprised, Mandy. He may say to you, hey, you know what? You're right. You do go on and on. Could you cut it short? Or you know what he might say, Mandy? I love listening to you. I love you. I love everything about you. Yes. So as we like to say around here, communicate, talk to him about what you're thinking and feeling, and see where it goes from there.
go to Beachbound. You answer.
Okay. Te quiero mucho.
Demo we had for Scenescape and the
An Intel podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast.
And the conversations we've had, Kathy and Susan. All right, let's move on to question number 2. This is from Becca from Orange County. And she asks, Kathy and Susan, SOS, I need you. I'm with my boyfriend of 4 years and I absolutely love him. Between where we're each at and the conversations we've had, I can say confidently that we'll be engaged sometime next year. Thinking about marrying him has been something I've been nothing but stoked for until last weekend. I've met my boyfriend's parents over FaceTime a million times, sometimes even chatting for over an hour, and they've always seemed so lovely. Between work, their retirement travel, and our own family holiday traditions, our in-person meeting hasn't been possible until now. So, last weekend, we finally got to fly out to them so they could meet me in person. The first few hours were so great until I noticed something on my boyfriend's mother's phone. I won't go into too much detail, but I noticed an Instagram notification that wasn't for her username that I follow. She regularly posts from. I thought I recognized the different username, and when I looked it up, I realized it was an anonymous, pictureless account that has often sent me hate comments and DMs. I have a decent following, so I'm used to spam DMs and not so nice comments. I was completely in shock, and I still haven't told my boyfriend. What do I do? I love him and I want to spend my life with him, but if that account is actually run by his mom, I don't ever want to be around her. How do I even talk about this?
Oh my gosh, that's a big
Damn
one.
social media. It's just a pain in our ass.
Wow. You know what? My first reaction, I don't know that I'd tell him. I'd confront her.
Confront her?
Yes.
It's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, we agreed 2 times today,
I know,
Kathy.
it's crazy. Absolutely. I would
Screw
confront
that.
her.
You got a problem with me? Let's talk. And say whatever that name is and say, by the way, is this you?
Yeah. And
Call
my
it.
friend, she needs to be ready that mom
Ugh.
might say, yeah, and I don't like you.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean,
Belle.
seriously.
And your
And
son
that's a tou-
does.
And your son does. You know what? It's a tough one. I'm going to
That
be
is.
honest here. My mother-in-law did not love me. I can't imagine why. But, my husband was the only son and he was the oldest child. And she just really struggled with letting her son go. So it may be
That's a
that.
tough situation.
It may be
That
some
is.
jealousy. There's also the chance that you missaw the username, that it was something
Hopefully.
similar. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
That's a tough one. I think you have to be ready for the consequences. Do you think
Yeah.
so?
Definitely. And I mean, if she causes a big stink, the mother, then your boyfriend's going to find out. And just keep a calm voice. You just said you're used to that social media stuff. Some people are negative and others aren't. But I would confront her respectfully and don't back down. Let her know you know.
Well,
And
but
I wish you
think,
luck.
But don't you think she first has to make sure that it is?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, she saw it.
Well,
Going to have to ask.
yeah, you're going to have to ask and get ready, buckle up, because it might get a
That's
little
a ride.
uncomfortable.
Okay, question number 3. This is from Carol from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Susan and Kathy. I'm a huge fan of the podcast. I really love your thoughts. So fingers crossed you see this. Well, guess what, Carol? We're seeing it.
Live.
I'm getting married in a year. My fiance and I are really 2 peas in a pod, even when it comes to wedding planning, which is such a blessing. So he's not my issue here. The other day, we had an engagement party. I'm not sure how other people do their engagement celebrations, but all the guests that were at our party are people that we intend to invite to the wedding. Well, I would think so, yeah. With that said, here's my issue. Out of pure kindness and cheerful tones, our friends were talking about how excited they were for our wedding. And the vast majority of the crowd agreed with all the points they made. But everything they were excited for and anticipating, like literally everything they think our wedding is going to be, will be the exact opposite. Our wedding will be very traditional, long ceremony, cake cutting, garter toss, bouquet toss, you name it, we're doing it. Even down to the music, the vibe, everything. They think this day is going to be way more fun, ? My friends spoke of the things I plan on doing as boring and such. I know I shouldn't care what other people think of my day, but everyone thinks our wedding will be non-traditional and unique because they see me as someone that is very feminist, very progressive, vibrant, and very outside the box. This has made me question everything. Am I who my friends think I am? Has wedding planning warped my sense of self? My head is spinning and I don't know what to do. It's such a weird and awkward position to be in. I know I shouldn't care what people think, but it's worrisome. Realizing all my most important, closest guests are literally set up for major disappointment. They are all very kind people. They wouldn't say a thing. They wouldn't say the things they did unless they were absolutely sure they were right. What should I do? I just laughed and nodded along to keep the mood of the day light. But ever since our party, I'm freaking out.
Okay. I am clearly over the hill. Sweet girl, let me say to you, this is your wedding day, Carol. You and your fiance have decided what you want for your day. I don't care if you bring a circus to town for your wedding and have cupcakes. You do what you want to do for your wedding, and people can get on board or not attend. Sweetie, I know you're nervous. You probably got some stress going on with wedding planning, but this is your day. It's a day you want to remember for the rest of your life. It should be exactly what you and your fiance want.
First of all, you're so lucky that he likes doing this stuff. And you guys both want this. So have at it. If anything, if you're that worried about it, throw in a little something like certain music or something towards the end to get them partying or something. But do you. Kathy and I agree on this one. This is 3 times we've agreed. Kathy.
Well, we agreed until that last statement. No. I wouldn't throw anything in to make the little people happy. It's your day. You do exactly what you want. If you want vanilla cake with chocolate frosting and everyone thinks you should have a 5-layer vanilla cake, you do what you want to do.
There's nothing wrong with throwing a garter and cutting the cake. That is a wedding tradition.
Well, but that's what they're saying. These people, the thing I found interesting, she says, they think this day is going to be way more. And then she writes ... fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, sweet pea. Carol, this day is not going to be fun. It's going to be fabulous. So if you don't think it's going to be fabulous and you're rethinking what you want, that's one thing. Don't let other people determine your wedding.
And you're not spending a fortune to make them happy. This is your day and you enjoy it. And I couldn't say it more. It's all about you.
And by the way, happy wedding, happy life. I hope everything goes swimmingly at your wedding and just a lifetime of happiness.
You rock, girl. Thanks for writing.
Okay. We are going to try something a little different today. We want to talk about a video that's a bit of a hot topic right now. So, Susan, this video that's gone viral of the groom spraying his bride with champagne. You know, you see that at weddings a lot. You hold the bottle, shake it, spray up. But he took it to another level. He completely sprayed her hair right in her face. What do you think?
Did you see the video? I watched the video.
I saw it. What do you think?
There's two sides to this. Now, first of all, she has to know who he is and maybe expect her. She was laughing in this thing. She turned around, she covered her face and turned around and was laughing like crazy and probably thinking, I can't wait to get him back. But if it were me, I'd be like, really, dude, in my face? Like, come on, it's my wedding day. I spent so much time making myself look good, and you're going to spray my face. But when I watched it, Kathy, I thought it was kind of funny, and she was laughing.
So
there's a lot of controversy out there right now. I know people.
I don't know.
Talking.
We don't know them, right? We don't know the couple.
No,
I mean, people say, well, she knows what she's getting herself into. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, unless they have some kind of weird fetish where Friday nights they open up a champagne bottle and see what happens with it. I think that's probably the first time that he ever had a champagne bottle in his hand, shook it up, and aimed it at her face. I think if that were me, when I watched it, I was thinking I'd be laughing on the outside and crying on the inside.
Want to kill him on the inside.
Yeah, for precisely what you said, the wedding pictures, the things that you take with you that you go back and look at, and her hair and the gown and in her face, makeup running. I mean, I don't think it's funny. I don't think the antics of, when I got married in the dark ages, there was always a thing, push the cake into her face. And I had told my husband.
That's something you talk about prior to.
It's exactly what we did. We talked about it before, and I said, if you do that, it'll be the shortest marriage on record. And I'm not kidding. I would have been very angry. Throwing champagne in her face wasn't a thing when I got married, but I would not like it.
I wish they would have continued the video after the champagne was done and see how her reaction was. But when I looked at it, it was kind of comical.
Yeah, but remember, there's a videographer there. Someone's.
He caught it all on tape, so she could kill him later.
Exactly. What you going to do? Start screaming? I don't know. I think, there's the word decorum. Good taste never goes out of style.
Wait. It did continue, Kathy. And then he goes over with the bottle and holds it. Yeah, and she drinks from it.
Yeah, great. And she's already doused with the champagne. He also gives her the bottle to let her.
And she gets it back.
But she can't get him back because the fizz is gone.
So what? It's a fun thing.
Okay, great. At your wedding, I'm gonna watch your mascara making you look like a raccoon, and I'm gonna say, hey, it's all in fun, Susan. Hope you like it.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was fun.
Go to Beach Options based on.
Into Technically Speaking.
Inspired by Victoria's Secret's classic looks from the 90s and your closest Victoria's Secret store or online at victoriasecret.com.
All right. I think we should switch it up a little bit, and we have just enough time to play a quick game. All right? Ready?
Let's do it, Kat. Let's do it.
This game is called Deal Breakers. We're going to say a scenario and then decide if each of us thinks it's a deal breaker for a relationship, okay?
Fair enough.
All right, here it goes. Is it a deal breaker? You're about to move in with your partner. He makes triple your salary, Susan, but still wants to split the bills 50-50. Is this a deal breaker for you?
It's a concern, that's for sure. If he's making triple, it depends on what she makes, though. Maybe she makes good money, too, but it's worth a discussion. I don't know about a deal breaker, but yeah, I would have a sit down over this one.
So what if his triple salary, if he's putting a lot more into maybe they have a joint savings account. I mean, I think the issue here is they're not married. They don't have combined finances. And even if you're married, they might not have combined finances. But I think it's not a deal breaker necessarily, but I think your point, it speaks loudly to, is he moving in because he loves you, or is he looking to cut his cost of living?
Yeah, right. That would be a deal breaker right there. But hopefully he's saving for their home, or, honey, let's do 50-50 and I'll bank everything so we can buy a house. I mean, we don't know enough, I don't think.
Exactly. There's a little bit that we don't know. However, they're not married because it says partner, and maybe it's just going to be a long-term relationship. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't.
I
like
want to
it
live
either.
with the guy who's
Not
going
when
to
he
pay all.
makes that much
Come
money.
on, Susan, fess up. We want to live with the guy who's going to pay
Who
all
pays
the
it all?
bills.
Those days are long gone. All righty. Your new partner hasn't posted you on any of their social media yet, and you've been together for 6 months. When you bring it up, he says, I just don't really post anything. Is that a deal breaker?
Well, I have to tell you, I have a friend that this happened to. And he was posting, he's cheating on her. He's posting, he's cheating on her. Come on. He's posting pictures of him with other girls. He said, oh, those were old girlfriends. I'm looking like, really? I got a wooden nickel I want to sell you. I mean, come on.
Well, you should know if he does do post. I mean, if he doesn't really post on social media, that is understandable. But yeah, I would question it. I would definitely question
Wait a minute.
it.
If he doesn't post at all, you would question it?
I mean, if he's not a guy that posts all the time, that's why he's not posting, I would think.
So why would you question that? If the guy doesn't
No,
post at all?
if he doesn't post, then you're good. But if he posts a lot of times and just hasn't posted about them, then
right.
yes, yeah.
That's a deal breaker.
There's a problem. Yep.
But this one, she says he doesn't post. So if he doesn't post, he doesn't post. It's like saying, you know, he doesn't smoke cigarettes. Is it a deal breaker? No. I mean, whatever. He doesn't do it.
That's
all
an
right.
easy one.
Here's the last one. That was an easy one. I love that we're agreeing so much, don't you?
I know. What is happening?
All right. You see a text conversation between your partner and their friend that has a history of making you feel uncomfortable. In the conversation, you see your partner sent a red heart when he thanked her for paying for his beer when they were out with some other friends. Is this a deal breaker?
Oh, God. I mean, you got to know more. These are...
I put hearts after
I heart
everything.
everybody.
I heart everybody about everything.
I
mean,
know. Don't
listen,
overthink it.
if in the text conversation, if there's a phone number and call me after 6, I'll be home.
Or last night was great. Can't wait to see you.
Then you can worry. But short of that, I mean, love you. Thanks for buying me a beer. It's harmless. I think, you know what? I do think, though, this brings up an interesting issue. This generation has been raised and on social media. That's how they connect.
Yes,
that's how they
very true.
discuss. They don't have what we would call as much verbal interactions. And so people, there's no feeling with a text message, right? So instead of saying, I love you, Susan, thanks for buying me a beer, it's just a quick...
And a red heart. Yep.
It's a red heart, you know?
Yep.
It's nothing more, nothing less. And I think that's one of the dangers of social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Because and texting even, you know, you
That's what I'm
can't
saying.
read their emotions, you know?
That's exactly right. Actually, we do have time for one more quick one here.
Okay.
Your partner reveals that they have a significant amount of debt that they have not previously mentioned. They assure you they have a plan to pay it off, but it will take several years. Is this a deal breaker?
Oh, how big is that debt? And can he afford to do what we're doing as well as pay off his debt?
Well, it says
Because
it'll take
you
several
inherit
years,
that.
so I don't think it's an extra bag of groceries we're talking about here.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know if it's a deal breaker, but man, I'd be a little annoyed.
I'd be more than annoyed. If it's my partner, this person did not say boyfriend or girlfriend, said partner, which tells me they've been together longer than 10 minutes. If I've been with someone and for some amount of time that I'm calling them my partner, then I would assume that I would know if they'd previously been married, if they'd been arrested, and if they have a significant debt to be paid off that will take several years. I got to say, for me, that might be a deal breaker.
It could be. It could be. Depends on how
I
big
need
it is.
a little bit more information.
Yeah, I would think I would need to know a little more as well. But it truly is a conversation.
Well, and think about it. I don't know the law, but I don't want to take on someone's debt.
Exactly. You get married and boom, that's your debt then.
Well, then it's called a prenup.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it gets very complicated, doesn't it?
It does.
Do you remember the
modern
good old
day.
days when
Yes,
you got
we never
married?
worried about that shit.
There was no shit. You had one checking account, you know.
Although, Kathy,
there was
how
always
many
more
people,
month than money.
how
Always.
many people that get married today have their debt from college? I mean, there's tons of college loans and people have to pay it off.
Right.
I mean, maybe
but
that's what it is. Is it a gambling debt? Is it,
I don't know.
depends on what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm not as concerned about what the debt is as I am that he or she has not
Known about it. Yeah.
has not told the other person about it
I
until this
agree.
time. And if they're going to hold that, what else are they holding?
A surprise right before we do this.
Yeah.
By the way, I owe $106,000.
Hey, Susan.
to-
Susan, are you my good friend?
Yes, I am.
Can I borrow a couple $100,000? I got some serious debt to pay off.
I just paid my debt off yesterday. I was happy.
Yay, you. That means you can now have a partner. You can pass go, collect
Yeah.
$200. You're not going to
I
jail.
am debt free, America.
Yeah, give her 10 minutes. She'll be shopping.
I've already used my card like 3 times. Oh, goodness. That was great, Kath. That was fun. And that's all for today's episode of Golden Hour. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you all so much. Be sure to follow us. We have new episodes coming out every week that you won't want to miss.
And make sure to send us those questions like we just did. We're going to talk about each and every one of them. Sometimes we dissect them, sometimes we don't. And we have lots of time to answer your questions. So head to bachelornation.com/golden hour and submit them.
We can't wait for the next episode. Listen to Bachelor Happy Hours Golden Hour on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great week.
See you next week.